Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm about to get into workout B. We're gonna hit some deadlifts, some bench, some rows, some barbell curls, some lateral raises. It's currently January 2nd at the time I'm filming this, so I want to wish you all a very happy new year. I wish you guys, tons of abundance in all the different areas of your lives. I hope you guys have been spending some quality time with your families. Sucking down lots of good calories, lots of feasting. I've been sucking down so many calories. Been eating some great feasts during the holidays. So my workouts have been exceptional. Been hitting some good personal records. I'm expecting this workout to go pretty well. But yeah, man, I'll have you guys know. Last Friday, I didn't film workout A because I was really crunched on time. But I'll have you guys know that I was squatting almost pain-free. Not extremely heavy, but I was squatting almost pain-free. And this whole TMS mind-body approach that I've been following as of late has been helping me a lot. The key ultimately has been disconnecting from the identity I used to have around the fact that my pain was physical, and I've turned instead to looking at my emotional landscape and understanding that the pain is ultimately triggered by an emotional response, whereas I used to think it was a physical problem. So disconnecting that sort of identity is what's really helped me get rid of some of my knee pain. So it's been very helpful. I've been able to squat, not very heavy. Obviously, I haven't squatted in months, so my strength is down embarrassingly low, but that's to be expected. We'll get back to it, man. So one thing I want to quickly cover, this is one of the biggest misconceptions I've seen since I've started these workout vlogs, and I get this from guys who are DMing me, sending me emails with their routines, and they're like, hey man, can you check out my routine, tell me what's missing here, tell me how it's going. And I get this also from guys. I've been doing lots of one-on-one consultations with some guys from my Herculean bulking program who are fucking crushing the Polarity fitness philosophy, and it's been absolutely dope to see that, to have that sort of one-on-one intimate contact. And a lot of guys are switching up the routines to incline bench, and I'm like, bro, why are you, and I tell this to everybody who DMs me, some of my clients. I'm like, bro, why are you doing incline bench? They're like, well, I have a weak upper chest. And I'm like, bro, you can't even fucking flat bench 225. What the fuck do you think you're doing, bro? Everything's weak. I don't get it, bro. Well, you guys have to understand, I see this shit too much, and this goes for isolation exercises as well. Guys are doing these different variations of the basic compound movements. And when I say basic compound movements, guys, when I say that on all my content, I'm referring to the basic variations of the compound movements. I'm talking about the flat bench press, the barbell back squat, the conventional deadlift. If you don't have a strength base on these general movements, guys, you don't have weak points. You are a fucking weak point. Everything's weak. Everything's fucking weak, bro. You don't have a fucking, you can't say you have a fucking weak point. You can't say you have a weak upper chest if you can't even flat bench 225, bro. What the fuck are you doing? I fucking pet peeve of mine, man. I don't understand it. You guys got to understand that the flat bench is in every way superior to the incline bench. Despite the fact that I'm doing this right now, a lot of guys don't understand that I've spent the past 1 or 2 years consistently grinding away at my flat bench, and I'm only doing incline bench right now because I needed to switch things up because I was hitting a serious plateau on my flat bench, so I just switched it up to some incline. Don't get me wrong, the incline bench is fucking fantastic, guys, but it is inferior for building the chest. It is an inferior movement in terms of the overall muscle mass recruited on the exercise. The bench press is in every way superior. It's the king of, it is the king of chest exercises. Where the incline bench really shines is for the front delts. A lot of guys are like, yeah, but the upper chest from the incline bench. Bro, do you realize that the emphasis is so fucking minor that it's not even worth considering? The emphasis on the upper chest is very, very small. The flat bench works the upper chest almost identically. Yeah, there's a slight emphasis on the upper chest from the incline bench, but it's so minor, guys, that it's not even really worth considering. As I said, it's a great exercise, but if you're not strong at flat bench yet, then you have no business doing incline. I'm telling you, you should focus on getting your strength up on your bench press. And even in my Herculean bulking program, I have specialization routines for working on certain muscle groups. But I always say, bro, if you're not at the advanced strength standards yet, if you haven't hit a 100-pound weighted chin up, a 200-pound overhead press, a 300-pound bench press, a fucking 400-pound squat, a 500 deadlift, why are you doing specialization routines, bro? Everything's fucking weak. You don't have weak points. Everything's weak. It's the same thing with isolation exercises where guys throw 5 exercises for their biceps, but they can't even squat 225. Bro, what the fuck do you think you're doing, dog? What the fuck? It makes no sense to me, bro. So just keep in mind, until you're strong all around on all the basic compound exercises, you have no business trying to isolate and focus on weak points because everything is a fucking weak point, guys. Fuck. Shit pisses me the fuck off. But anyways, we can get some fucking incline bench right now. Get some fucking, guys, let's be honest here. Before I switched over to incline bench, I was repping 245 on fucking flat bench. So I don't want anyone telling me I have a weak flat bench, whatever. But yeah, I'm doing some incline now. Let's get into it, baby. So I'm getting into my working sets right now. I'm going for 2 sets of 6 to 8. On my last workout, I got 8 reps on the first set, so I hit the top end of the rep range. On my second set, I got 7 reps, so I'm hoping to get 8 and 8 on this workout. Guys, if your heart's not fucking pumping out of your chest before you're getting into your working sets, then you're doing something wrong, man. Like if you don't have that competitive spirit where you're like, fuck, I gotta get this personal record, I gotta hit this, I gotta get this improvement, I gotta hit this progress, then that's a big reason why so many people don't achieve their dream physiques, is because they're just going through the motions. They don't have a plan for progress. They're not striving for that little tiny bit of improvement. So like that's why like you got to feel a little bit like, you know, fucking worked up, like anxious, like you want that shit, you want to fucking hit that. That's what counts, man. It's the striving for that progress. Even if you don't hit it all the time, which you obviously won't, it's the striving that counts. So let's get into this, baby. Come on, get a nice 8 reps here. Ideal. Come on, one more. Easy. Easy. Let's fucking go, baby. Come on. Now that's not a personal record, but that's feeling a lot better than it did in the last workout, which leads me to believe that I will get that 8th. I'll get that extra rep on the next set. But you know what's so funny, guys? One of the funniest things is like when guys join my Herculean bulking program, as I mentioned, I'm doing like one-on-one talks with them recently. One of the funniest things is like, wait a second, you actually practice what you preach? I'm like, duh. Like, bro, like the fact that is like rare to me is so fucked up, man. Like you have so many people teaching fitness who make videos about fitness and aren't even doing what they fucking teach. It's like, of course I'm doing what I teach. What I teach is the best. If there was something better, I'd fucking do it, but I do my shit because it's the best. It's so funny, bro. Like it blows my mind. Like a lot of guys came in from like watching my workout vlogs. And they're like, wait a second, those are actually the routines you put in your program. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, it's just so funny to me, man. Like, there's such a low standard of quality and integrity in the fitness industry. It's fucking, it blows my mind. Like if you're putting out content, you better be doing what you better be practicing what you preach, you know what I mean? Or else, like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. It's probably the number one sign of someone you should actually trust is someone who actually, you know, is congruent, teaches a certain approach, teaches certain stuff, and then follows through on it themselves, you know? That's the telltale sign of someone who's either bullshitting you or not. So I'm gonna rest about 4 minutes, get into my next set. Hopefully I had a nice personal record there. All right, boys, it's fucking go time here. It's fucking go time, motherfucker. I gotta hit this 8th rep. Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. Let's go. Come on. Yes! Fuck yes. Motherfucker. That's it. That's the shit. That's the fucking shit you're striving towards, baby. That's what it's all about. Fuck. Good shit. So next workout, I'm gonna up the weight. I'm gonna go up to 210 pounds. I'm gonna drop down to 6 reps on both sets. Then I'm gonna work my way up to 2 sets of 8. And repeat this process, man. It's a slow but steady accumulation of that bit more, those extra reps, those extra little bits of weight that add up to massive improvements over time. And as you guys can see, the fucking intensity is there, man, because I'm fucking going for it. I'm putting everything into it. So few people know how to actually exert themselves. It's insane. And it's something that takes time when you get into training. You know, that's why, that's why I'm not a big believer in this like one set to failures, because like most people cannot bring the necessary effort in one set to actually make that one set stimulate maximum growth. Do you know what I mean? So that's why, you know, that's kind of a side note, but most people don't know how to train hard, and that's why people think that they can be in the gym a lot. They're like, oh yeah, you know, I can recover between workouts. I can be in the gym 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Like, you're lazy for wanting to be in the gym 2 days a week. I'm like, bro, I'm not in the gym 2 days a week because I'm lazy. I'm in the gym 2 days a week because it's what fucking works for normal drug-free people with lives outside of the gym. Because if you're fucking training hard, if you're pushing your sets to that level, you cannot be in the gym very much if you want to make progress. Because sure, you can be in the gym all the time, you can train as much as you want, but you're only ever going to grow from what you can recover from. And so if I'm doing 5 sets here, for example, on this bench press, first of all, I'm going to just be going through the motions because subconsciously I know I have so much work to get through that I have to dilute my effort in each set. So the powerful thing about doing 2 sets is that you just unleash maximum effort into them, because you know you only have to do 2 sets, so you have to make those sets count. You don't have to dilute your focus, your energy. It's about keeping your routine simple, brief, short, training hard on a few good exercises, hitting a couple hard sets on each of them, then getting out of the gym, resting, recovering, growing back stronger, because you build muscle and strength during the recovery process. You don't build muscle and strength in the gym. The goal of training is to stimulate growth. And when you're doing things properly, you only need a small quantity of training to stimulate lots of growth. Effective training is about quality, not quantity. I could spend fucking 3 hours in the gym doing a marathon workout here, but guess what? I won't recover between that workout and my next workout, and I won't be able to make little bits of improvement. But since I'm just training really hard on a small quantity of training, I'm training really hard, I'm stimulating growth, and I'm getting out of the gym. I'm not exhausted when I finish the workout. I'm not exhausted. I'm getting out of the gym, resting, recovering, coming back with the ability to make small bits of progress, and that's what fucking counts. Bodybuilders, steroid users, influencers, they don't need to worry about that, because when you're on drugs, you can just pump tons of volume, you can do light weights, be in the gym all the time. But when you're drug-free, it's a very strong relationship between size and strength. So if you're not seeing that steady rate of improvement in strength over time, you're not getting any bigger, man. Despite however much time you're spending in the gym, it doesn't fucking matter. If you're not seeing that strength gain over time, none of what you're doing is working. That's the telltale sign of a program that works or doesn't. Are you seeing a good steady rate of improvement over time? You don't have to gain 30 pounds, 40 pounds a month on all your lifts. You have to see that slow rate of improvement, that gradual increase over time. That's what leads up to a great physique. It's that simple. Just most people aren't consistent enough to actually see the results they want. You know, building a great physique, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent over a long period of time. It's about doing the basic stuff over just a long enough time horizon, guys. And that's something I talked about recently on an email. It's like, now's the time of year, you know, it's January 1st, January 2nd, now's the time of year where people set New Year's resolutions. They set out to do these crazy routines, crazy diet plans that they inevitably can't stick to, and then they end up burning themselves out, and within two to 3 months they've finished. And that's actually a real statistic. Over 90% of people quit the gym after 3 fucking months. And why do you think that is, guys? Because people, first of all, they don't see fucking results with conventional mainstream bodybuilding advice because it doesn't work for drug-free people. And second of all, they can't sustain it because these fucking routines are so impractical, guys. You know, training, fitness is it's not just about effectiveness. Sure, it has to be very effective, but it also has to be practical, because you have to eat, train, and rest properly over the long term to see the results that you want. Therefore, the combination of effectiveness and practicality is key. And everyone can sustain working out twice per week if they learn how to bring the right amount of effort. And that's what it comes down to. It's not about being in the fucking gym all the time. It's not about crazy stuff. It's about applying basic fundamental principles. I always talk about this, but in the fitness industry, people focus on the last 5%, 5% of what actually drives success. 5%. What do I mean by that? The most popular topics in YouTube fitness: training styles, training splits, the best rep range. All of this different bullshit is the most popular topics in the fitness industry. But you know what drives 95% of your physique success? 3 fucking things, guys. 3 things. Getting strong in your big, basic compound movements. Hitting the right calorie and protein intake, and obviously, you know, getting some whole foods as well if you're concerned with your health, which you should be. And then the third thing is sleeping 8 to 9 hours per night. It's not about complicated bullshit. It's about applying those 3 fucking principles over the long term and then seeing the success you want. I love this quote by Neil Strauss where he says, "Success comes down to doing the obvious thing for an uncommonly long period of time without convincing yourself that you're smarter than you are." And I love that. I fucking love that. And I see myself doing this in other areas of my life where I complicate things, but then I have to remind myself, like, Rio, you just haven't done the basics long enough. You just haven't done the fucking basics long enough. That's it. That's it. We have a complexity bias where, people, they complicate things because they get bored of their routines, and then they end up fucking up their results, and they're like, why does this not work? And it's like, bro, it was going to work if you would have just stuck with it long enough. That's what it is, man. That's all it comes down to. Nothing complicated. Basic fundamentals over time. And the same people who are focused on those 5%, the same people who are focused on the best training splits, the best angles, the best fucking sets per muscle, all this different bullshit. Those motherfuckers aren't even doing the basics. They're not even fucking striving for progression. They're not even tracking their fucking workouts. They're not hitting their calories, their protein, their whole foods. They're not getting their walking in. They're not sleeping 8 to 9 hours per night. They're not tracking their calories and protein and this different stuff. It's that shit. It's fucking that, guys. Stop mentally masturbating and distracting yourselves with all this different fitness content and dial in on the fucking basics. Sure, it gets boring, but you got to do the boring work. Do the boring work. Stick to the boring fucking principles over time that create success, and you will get there. It's just a matter of time at that point. It's just a matter of fucking time. So I'm gonna get into some trap bar deadlifts. So now I'm hitting some trap bar deadlifts. This is 342 for 6 reps. I upped it by 5 pounds. Last workout I was doing 337 and I got 8 reps. So I upped it by 5 pounds here and went for 6 reps. And I went up 5 pounds as well in the second set. It always comes out to some weird numbers like 347 and 317 for both sets, just because the trap bar is like 62 pounds. So it comes out as this weird odd number. But honestly, man, I'm looking forward to getting back to traditional barbell back squats and, conventional deadlifts or Romanian deadlifts. There's nothing wrong with the trap bar deadlift. I think it's a great exercise, but I don't think I'm as built for it as I am for like squatting and deadlifting, like traditional deadlifting. I think where the trap bar really fucking shines is for guys who really struggle with barbell back squatting because they're really tall, really lanky. I think that's where trap bar deadlifts really, really shine. But for me personally, I just prefer regular barbell back squats or conventional deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts. Like those are kind of the best. I also like stiff-legged deadlifts. I'm probably going to throw those in for a future training cycle, but yeah, man. So I got a good 8 reps here. I haven't decided whether I want to stick to kind of that 4 to 8 rep range on deadlifts or if I want to do like a 6 to 10. The 6 to 10 rep range is brutal. Like doing a heavy set for 6 to 8, a back down set of like 8 to 10, really difficult. Traditionally, I like sticking to lower reps a little bit more on the deadlift just because every rep counts. And you can get a lot out of, very little work on the deadlift. Like a lot of programs, they just do one set for the deadlift just because of how taxing it is. Less is definitely more, especially for the deadlift. So now I'm getting to some incline dumbbell rows. This is 85 pounds per dumbbell. This is one of my favorite rowing variations. I made some pretty good progress here as well. I think I went up 5 pounds from the last workout. I was doing like 80s for sets of 10 to 12 on the last workout. Now I went up to 85s and I pretty much linearly progressed. I'm pretty sure I got 12 on both sets. So yeah, these are great, man. If you're like stuck at a home gym, I definitely recommend these. Very efficient exercise, very easy to set up. But when I'm at the public gyms, I like doing like rowing machines. I just think like when it comes to like I'm not a big machine fan for a lot of different exercises, but when it comes to rows, I really like the machine exercises like cable rows, the seal row machine. All these different exercises are fucking fantastic. The hammer strength row, absolutely great. So I put up a short recently talking about strength standards for a great natural physique, and a bunch of people got their panties in a twist. Some guys were like, don't worry about standards, don't set goals, just focus on becoming a little bit better than you were last time. Where did this guy get these numbers? He's just pulling them out of his ass. And it's like, I kind of agree with the idea that, you should just focus on becoming better than you were in your last workout. You just got to focus on adding those little bits of improvement like we talked about earlier, that bit more that adds up to crazy gains. But in reality, guys, having standards to shoot for is absolutely critical. One of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, James Clear has a little saying where he says, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. And so if you have low standards for your performance in the gym, you're never gonna go anywhere, man. You're never gonna go anywhere. It's so important to have that sort of North Star to shoot for. And since the primary focus of your training as a drug-free person needs to be getting strong, making strength gains, progressive overload over time, it makes sense to have some goals to shoot for, man. And that's not to say that you're going to hit all those goals. Obviously, there's gonna be some exercises that you're better at than others. If you're really tall and lanky, for example, you're probably gonna struggle with your bench press and your squat. You're probably gonna do really well with your deadlift and your overhead press and your dip. Maybe if you're shorter and stockier, you're gonna do better with your bench press and your squat. And so there's always gonna be these little biases, but it's so important to have standards. Like that saying, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land on the stars. Whatever the fuck the saying is, you guys know what I'm talking about. That's the idea with strength standards, because if you have really high standards for yourself and you cultivate that competitive spirit, then like even if you miss that goal you were shooting for, you're still going to be much stronger than the person who never had any goals or standards to shoot for. Because what gets measured is what improves, guys. In any area of life, it's the same thing. What you focus on expands. What you focus on improves. What gets measured gets improved. And I would say what has taught me more than anything about my training, like the whole way I've landed on what I teach, the principles, like the reason I'm so fucking passionate about what I teach is because I've been reinforced time and time again that this is the way to do it. You know why? Not because of a person, not because of another influencer, not because of a book, but because of my fucking training log. That has been my mentor. Your training log is your mentor, because what it's going to tell you is what's going well and what's going wrong. That's the key. And that's how I form my training programs. I fucking consult my training logs. I have like years of fucking workouts, guys, that I just like, I know what's like, how the workout needs to be structured in order to see this bit of improvement. Oh, I'm not seeing strength gains on this movement. Why is that? Okay, maybe I need to lower the volume a little bit. Maybe I need to spread the exercises apart a little bit more. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the best teacher. Your workout log is the best teacher. And I would say, even if you weren't going to follow the Polarity fitness philosophy, even if you were to just go at it on your own without without having me help you cut your learning curve in half, I would say the easiest way someone can improve their physique right now is to just set the standards, right? Set the goals, and then track your workouts. Because you're ultimately I guarantee you're ultimately going to land on what I teach if that's the process you're going to follow. That's the interesting thing. Like I would impress upon you, if you don't buy into my approach, if you don't think it's a good way to go, I would say, first of all, understand that the primary goal is strength gains. The primary goal is strength gains, and then track your workouts. And ultimately, you're going to land on the fact that most of what other people are teaching do not yield the strength gains that you need to see as a drug-free person to build a great physique. And you'll land on what I teach, because that's what allows for that consistent rate of improvement. So the simple act of having those advanced standards and then simply tracking your workouts each and every week, finish your set. The first thing you should fucking do, not go on TikTok, not go on Instagram like these absolute dweebs you see in public gyms today. You go to your fucking workout log and you write it down. What did you do? Where did you improve? If it was a grinder, you better write that down. Don't fucking fool yourself. Don't bullshit yourself. You got to be honest. Did I get it? You got to be honest. Did you actually hit the personal record? If it was a fucking grinder, maybe you didn't really. You got to be honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, you're going to start to see that improvement. You're going to take accountability for the fact that, maybe you're doing too much shit in the gym. Maybe you're not, pushing hard enough. It's these different things that you catch through tracking your workouts, and it's super critical. So what is the advanced strength standard? What's the standard that you need to shoot for? I think, a basic standard that everyone should shoot for is to get 100-pound weighted chin up. And, that may be low for a lot of people. For me, that's definitely low, because I'm pretty much repping 100 pounds on weighted chin ups. But if you can hit like 100-pound weighted chin up, and that's gonna, and some people are like, if you can just add shitloads of strength and get fat as fuck and hit the big standards, right? Not if you're doing weighted chin ups. That's the key. If you're including body weight movements in those standards, it's gonna keep you from getting fat. So for example, if I was to say just do squat, bench, deadlift standard, you could just get fat as fuck and hoist big ass loads on those lifts. But since you throw in the weighted body weight movements, whether it's dips, whether it's chin ups, you're naturally gonna have to keep yourself a little bit leaner in order to hit the standard. And what I tell people is like 100-pound weighted chin up, and this is all 1 rep maxes, 100-pound weighted chin up, 200-pound overhead press, 300-pound bench press, 400-pound squat, 500 deadlift, and whatever. Those are just round numbers. But the idea is not even the exact fucking standard. The whole point is just to set high standards so that even if you fall short, you're stronger than the average dweeb who just goes through their workouts in a daze, doesn't track their shit, doesn't have standards to shoot for. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. Have high fucking standards for yourself in the gym. Magical things will happen. Despite following the best training routine, which doesn't really exist in reality, despite following all that bullshit, the simple act of tracking your workouts, having high standards will get you to your dream physique, as long as you have that competitive spirit. And that's the ultimate goal with strength standards and writing your sets, writing your reps, writing your weight, tracking your workouts. The idea is to cultivate that competitive spirit, because if you don't put that pressure on yourself, like as you guys saw when I was going for that personal record, my heart was beating, my voice was shaking because I'm nervous, because I have high standards for myself. And if I don't hit it, I'll be, not necessarily emotionally like fucked, because that's not what you want. You don't want to get emotionally attached to your exercises, your lifts. But I'll be, you know, like I'll be like, okay, fuck, like we gotta work on this. We gotta get stronger. And it's that mindset that keeps you going, that is ultimately gonna help you build your dream physique at the end of the day. Save a little bit of time. I like to do supersets on my isolation exercises just because they're not that fucking important. I just like to burn them out and then get the fuck out of the gym. Guys, if you're doing more than 2, maximum 3 isolation exercises in each workout that you do, you're fucking around. You're wasting your fucking time. So 2 isolation exercises in each workout, hit them hard, you know, superset them. Don't waste your fucking time on them. Get them done, burn them out, and then get the hell out of the gym. Too many guys take this shit way too seriously. It's just for the little icing on top of the cake, you know what I'm saying? One thing I see is that too many guys stress themselves out about their progression on isolation exercises. You have to understand, you're not going to progress on a bicep curl as fast as on a squat and deadlift, right? Squat and deadlift use so much muscle throughout the entire body that it has a much higher strength potential than a fucking bicep curl or a lateral raise. So I always tell guys, like, yeah, focus on progressing on those isolation exercises, but it's not going to happen as fast as the basic compound lifts, right? And it's tricky because a lot of times you have to go up, especially if you're using dumbbells, you have to go up in these 5-pound jumps. And a lot of times, you know, your body doesn't really progress that quickly with smaller single joint exercises. So it's a bit iffy. Like, you can expect like little bits of progress in isolation exercises, but at the end of the day, you're just there to get some blood flow into the muscle, you know, burn it out a little bit, get some work done, and then leave it, man. Like, I've been on lateral raises, I've been stuck at like 30 to 35 pounds for a long ass time, and I don't really give a fuck, just because as long as I'm getting a nice pump, getting that blood flow, working the muscle, that's it, man. That's all that counts. It's all you need to focus on. The focus needs to be on the basic compound movements. That's the fucking meat and potatoes of your training. That's the cake. This is the icing. What we just did there, the deadlifts, the rows, the bench, that's the cake. That's what's really going to build the substance of your physique. This, just to plug the gaps left by those core compound lifts. That's it, man. That is fucking it. And I always say this, that the driving, like the North Star of every training routine that you do, of every productive training program, is that you need to have a handful of big major compound exercises that work well for you, cover a lot of muscle in your body, that you can train intensely, and you need to focus on mastering them and getting as strong as possible at them over time. And so that's like the guiding statement, the compass of every training routine as a natural lifter that you need to focus on. Just having those core group of movements, striving to master and get really, really good at. That's what's going to produce 90 to 95% of your physique development. And then the rest of the shit, maybe the last 5%. It's a little cake. But again, most guys focus on the 5% instead of the 95%. It goes for everything in fitness. One more. Oh, fuck. All right, one more set of lateral raises and I'm done.